Good morning, everyone, and welcome into the Daniel Sauls Show, where your passion meets the truth. In today's episode, I'm going to be discussing boxing, specifically Gervonta Tank Davis and his future in the sport of boxing, and if he's unbeatable or not. And if he's not, who could beat him? Let's get into the video. Alright, so today's question is Gervonta Tank Davis unbeatable? And if not, who could potentially give him his first loss? So, we got to think about this for a second. Gervonta Tank Davis is one of the hardest punchers in boxing. Has very, very high level power, heavyweight type power, and he's only 135 pounds. Right? He's 30-0 with 28 knockouts. Has the highest knockout rate in boxing with 93%. This guy is absolutely incredible in every single way possible. He is the biggest attraction in boxing. Even people that don't like boxing and don't watch boxing on a regular know who Gervonta Tank Davis is. Now, to answer the question, is he unbeatable? First, we have to go and look at some facts for a second. Gervonta Tank Davis is not going anything higher than 140 pounds. He already doesn't want to go up to 140 because there's people like Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia. You got others calling him out in the 140-pound division like Isaac Cruz and Rolly Romero, people like that. He's fought a lot of those guys. But the people like Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, and those guys, right? Well, they still want to fight him, but he's not going to go up to that weight, right? Ryan Garcia was like, okay, I want to fight you, but it's got to be at a catch weight, 143 or 144, because I can't make 140 anymore. Tank's like, why can't we do it at 140? He's only saying he'll move up to 140 to rematch Ryan because he knows Ryan can't make 140, right? So he's probably going to stay at 135. Now, 135 was very, there was a lot of great fighters in the 135 division because you had Haney, Ryan, Isaac, Rolly, Shakur, Lomachenko, Tank himself, and all these guys, right? Well, now a lot of those went up to 140. So now you really are left with Shakur and Lomachenko. So, is he unbeatable? If he's only going to stay at 135, he probably is unbeatable. Nobody can beat him because Lomachenko, the only way he could win is if he outboxes Gervonta. And you don't think that they're going to try and, Calvin Ford's going to get Gervonta to do... He's going to try and make him the best boxer he can in that fight because he already knows that it's going to be a chess match. But that's also not a fight that the fans would want to see necessarily because there's not going to be a knockout because I think Vasily Lomachenko is very experienced. He's a veteran. He's definitely going to be a Hall of Famer. And he's got a lot of experience, like I just said. And that experience plays a big factor in this fight. So if it does happen, Gervonta is not going to be able to assume that he can just get a knockout and it'll be fine, right? Like, think about this. Frank Martin, obviously, in the 135-pound division, just fought Tank. He was beating Tank for 7 rounds. He beat Tank 5-2 in the first 7 rounds, and in the 8th round, Tank got the knockout. But that's a guy that only had 18 wins. So, now 19 fights versus a guy that, Vasily Lomachenko doesn't have much more fights than Frank, but he's got way more experience in the game. He's got a lot more experience in this sport. So because of that experience, and because he's not young like a Frank Martin, he would have that advantage over Tank. So Tank isn't going to just get a very easy knockout. And on top of that, Vasily Lomachenko is very agile. He's very fast. He's quick. He's got quick hands. He's got a good guard. Very good technique. He just doesn't have power. He's got everything you want, but besides power. And that's the problem. So I don't think he can get a knockout on Tank, but if he was to beat Tank, it would be on the scorecards, and I just don't think that Calvin Ford's going to let him lose like that. So I think that they would train very hard for his ring IQ, for him to get better and get more experience with pure boxers. You got to be strategic. You can't be, just wild and throw a lot of shots. He can't try and knock him out necessarily because it might not work, and he might get caught, and he might get beat up like he did against Frank, and then it might go all 12 rounds, and he might lose to Lomachenko. But I don't think that he could. lose to Lomachenko just because of his team around him and his great coaches, and I believe that they would set him up for success. Now the other guy is Shakur Stevenson. That one's probably the better fight, the more of a money fight, and that'd be probably the best fight in 135. And I say that because there's a lot of hype behind Shakur Stevenson, right? The only problem is the last fight that he had, he put on a horrible performance. He ran around the ring. It was like he trained for a track meet. It was horrible. He just kept running. He can't slip punches. He just backs up and runs away. He runs along the ring. But that's what Frank Martin was doing. And then he got knocked out. So Shakur Stevenson is still very young as well. He fought in lighter divisions. I don't think he has the power to take Tank out. So in that situation, in that fight, I think Tank could actually knock out Shakur Stevenson if he doesn't run around the ring. But if he runs around the ring, I think that Tank's going to do exactly what he did to Frank Martin and just trap him in the corner of the ropes and then catch him with some shots, set him up, and then knock him out. I think that's a pretty similar fight. Shakur Stevenson's definitely a better boxer than Tank, but he doesn't have the power, and I don't think he has the experience and the IQ that Tank has. So I think that Tank would get him out there probably around the 7th, 8th round, just like he did Frank Martin, maybe even the 9th or 10th, but I don't think it would go the distance. I don't think it would. I don't think it's going to be that good of a fight. I think the distance fight would be Loma versus Tank. So in this situation, and to answer the question, if Tank does stay at 135, I think he is very much unbeatable, and I don't think anybody will be able to, stop him, get a knockout on him. I don't think it'll happen. The only way he could possibly lose if he goes up to 140 or 147, and I don't think that that's going to happen. So I think he is unbeatable. That answers the question. Peace out, y'all. Wait, hold up. Before this video ends, make sure you go like, turn on post notifications on as always, and comment. Let me know what you think about this video. And if you want to see more greatness and more amazing takes from me, Daniel Sauls, make sure you go subscribe to my channel, because I'll be back with another video for y'all guys very soon. Peace out.